want to say I think I remember. I tried to go back to the video and check and see. I think I want to say I remember, but because I'm going to say I think, right? I'm going to just say it. I was talking about how if you, how you know how if you just, you try to, like I said, I talk about that all the time. You know how you do like the, and you do that thing? Well, you have to breathe through that, right? Like you're capable of breathing past it. It's like I say, there's a push and pull to go up and down with the. Like I can breathe, because I can also do both, right? I can breathe in while breathing out and do the opposite. Like I can. Like it's hard to show, but I'm breathing in and you can see a slight push. Slight push. It's not because I'm not fully there yet to really do it, because it's still so much. But that's what I'm really trying to get in. I'm trying to get into. It's just like I can do both. You can. It seems that you can kind of cycle. So it's like pulling through the muscles that feel like you're not able to breathe through. Being able to just sit. So you know how like you do that little like because I noticed that this is a big one. We don't talk about this rib enough. It made sense. I can't remember which one it was, but we don't talk about those ribs enough. That this top one right here that's close to the clavicle. We don't talk about that one enough and how important that is, because we don't breathe in that part of our shoulder enough. We talk about shoulders. I think that's what they're talking about. More the rib. This whole piece along the neckline and stuff like that. But like I was maybe have been saying or alluding to was that, like I said, you know how you want to take a breath, and it's like that. If you're able, and I'm not, like, because there's certain points that I'm able to hold to when I do it. Like there's different points anywhere, really. I'm saying I can hold any point of my body to where if I need to hold here, kind of like that, like soon, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm able to like stretch and pull at those points, or any point, any which way you want to come up with. It doesn't matter how it happens. That's what I want to bring to people is the like it's weird to explain, but when I see people move, I'm going, but if you could just know like that you're able to like, I don't know how to say this like thing, but it's unfortunate because you can't really see the movement that I'm explaining. But it's like if you're able to take the time to breathe into long enough, like people, like I've heard it, like no, you can breathe, you have your lungs, but yes, like I said, there's no way that this entire body is a breathable material of light, condensed light. You're telling me that I cannot get through breathe into my hand. I'm not actually doing it now fully to show you, because like I said, there's nothing to see, unfortunately. Like, and I could be lying, is what I'm saying. I could be lying right now that I'm saying that I can breathe into my hand to make it move. You know, like that, kind of like, you know, you had, because like I say, what makes your hand pulse like this is the pull of all of this too, right? But if I'm able to pull here, like like that's my question. Let me ask that. Let me say it like that. What is the pull? When you're able to like and pull that up, and just because, like I said, I'm literally, every time I do stuff like that, when I'm showing you right now, like when I do that and go, whoo, it may seem like, nothing. It may not seem like anything, but like I said, that's why it's like thinking that I gotta like, when it's literally just like here. You can hear that. I'm not trying to make myself breathe when I do that. Like I say, before, like I said, or if I go deep enough, or before, I would try to like, and I would just have to like, and like, just say screw it, open up and make myself breathe. But realize that if I choose to just hold, this is the beginning, I guess. Oh God, I gotta wash my throat. when I start to like get into what I'm saying with this is there's a quietness in your mind, correct? But I give you this. Try this out. Imagine yourself screaming as loud as you possibly can. Like just picture it and give it all you got. If you really do it, like I say, this is this thing where like singers come into play and things like that. Because if you really do it and you put everything into it, and you really, and I mean you really start to give it from your mind first, like you're only going, what would it look like if I imagine myself just giving it to myself, right? Just everything I got, right? But I'm only. I notice that there is a explosion in the body that happens. Like Dolo talks about how like you'll have like the imagination and in the eyes. I notice it's just like I say, it's just like a ballooning or whatever. It's like to where whatever's going on in the smallest parts is that, that to where it's like, so if I go real quiet enough, then it goes where, if I don't want to sound it out anymore, what do? Imagine it, right? Instead of saying it, I say it. I'm imagining myself as if I were to. I know what it looks like. I know I can come together with all these things. When people say sound, but it's not something you're not. You're not really hearing it, but you know it's there because that's what you're imagining it to be. But I'm saying is that if you could tap into that and connect those things, you can see that that's where that's coming from. Like, if I imagine in my mind, I'm like, or just like I said, a singer, they have to imagine what tone they need to be in before they say it. They have to know that that's the tone they're going for. You have to know what part of the vibrations you want to move inside your body to heal it. You have to know that that's what you're doing. You just know. Where does that come from before you did But if you don't know if you don't know it, if you don't know where to place that vibration within your, all the way down to your kneecap, down to your toe knuckles, right down to the bunions, you know what I'm saying? When you know that that's where it needs to be placed in the body, you just know that that's where it goes. You don't have to think about it necessarily. You imagine it because you know that that's what it is. this is the same thing. When I know, I can, but I also think about it. If I need to imagine myself fixing and healing my body to where I need to turn it this way, I need to break it up that way, I need to make it shift this way, I need to move this part to this part, I need to connect this part of my head to this part of my hip down here, and then it'll fix that and do whatever it needs to do. Like, I need to know that this is what I'm doing. Like, I know that I need to stretch my chin out, so not only do I do it, but I can just think that I need to, like, predator, or like I need to open, I can like unhinge, but in my imagination, if I think about it, I can start to do that. I wish y'all really could hear it. There's a little pop that just happened. It's not just, like I said, because I'm going, like, anybody can do this, but I'm imagining, I'm breathing, I'm holding firmness, I'm doing. I think I was gonna go into maybe 2, or what I probably would have bridged with, like I'm doing now, is the animation of things. You know how they hear reanimation of something like zombies or whatever like that, or whatever thing, or like when they want to bring something back, like a Frankenstein or whatever the case. What about just animation? Like, what about that when you're alive and you're capable? Like, why is that we're able to imagine ourselves trying to recreate the dead, working on the dead's dead, let the dead bury the dead? Why we worry about the dead? But what about animation? What about it already being here and you moving yourself through? So you know how, like, I'm trying to bring it, like, you know how you watch certain movies where dudes like regenerating or something like that, and it takes a minute or something, or like, you know, something like the Wolverine, essentially. That's one of the best ways. If that's the they were talking about in my chart, it's like that though. It's like kind of like Wolverine or some, you know, Deadpool or some dude like that. Just he's able to just imagine himself the way he needs him to be. It, like his body will just automatically do it. There's no, you know, the healing process is just there through him knowing that that's who he is, and his body just does. It just does what it does. But imagining yourself like the reanimation process, right? Bringing something back or whatever. You see how, like, it takes the whole, like, they'll do an animation of it, like, of the muscles forming together, and you see the bone and the tendons and the ligaments coming, and you see how it's like, and if the little muscles and the waves are forming and all this, it's like, and you see them coming back, right? You see all the muscles going where they need to go, and all the veins coming in like that, and all, like, you see it, right? Like, you're like, whoa, look all the, they show all the stuff in the legs and the feet, toe hand, man, Jan Bland, you know what I'm saying? Doing all the stuff in your hands, you know what I'm saying? All the stuff, right? You see it. That's when I'm saying that I'm just like doing this thing, I'm also doing that in all the ways you could imagine that I'm doing it. I'm working on all of the muscles that I can put my thoughts into to make myself be able to reset, if you want, or just set myself back to where I used to be, to where there's no nerve pain, there's no this, no knee, neck, whatever, thigh muscle, you know what I mean, quadricep hepidepicent pain, you know what I'm saying, none of the hippity pain, you know what I'm saying, none of that. None of the hoobity doobity, you know what I'm saying? I'm back to where I need to be, like I used to be, to where, you know, there's no, oh, it takes me like 20 minutes to do a burpee, or like one burpee, or like, you know, it takes about 15 days for me to get out of bed, or whatever like that. Like, I'm moving myself back. I'm imagining myself back however I need to do it. Like I said, sometimes I could just be comatose, dude. It don't stop the process. The process don't stop because I do like this. You know what I'm saying? It don't make a difference that I'm not moving in any way, shape, or form. Because my mind is moving. It's mind traveling. So I can just imagine myself doing whatever I need to do. Like I say, you put yourself in a real position long enough in your mind of imagining, and this is what I was getting into before too, in the last video. So I definitely gotta make it say it's a part 2. You putting yourself there long enough. Like I say, I notice when I'll do something, like let's say I'm driving a race car or something like that, if I'm really putting myself in that place long enough and I'm really feeling it, like like right now, like, oh God, dude, I could have fell off a cliff, but I hurried up and kicked it into gear and slapped that bitch in and hit the e-brake and you know what I'm saying? I hit that bitch. When I'm really in it, I'm sweating and I feel the day's heat and I feel the muscles tensing and I feel what it feels like to actually be there and what it feels like to have that moment weigh on you, and you gotta really like focus and you really gotta be in it and you're like there. I mean, and you're there. You're like, you feel the dust and you feel this car is not as clean as you thought. The leather feels better than you thought, or like you're like, yo, this thing is smaller than I would have imagined. Like, or it's like you felt that steel bar. You felt the steel bar like in your mind. Like, it's not just, oh, I'm riding. It's almost like third person. You know what I'm saying? You're not even really like in the imagination. You're not really like, in it. You're just like, it's almost third person. I mean, like, what this person actually would have to go through, like you've actually done it and then sat back and was like, when you put yourself there, your body literally will form itself to do the thing at some point. If you're really enough into it, it'll make itself happen. It'll do it if you really place yourself into that imagination. That's what I'm saying. So when I look at movies, when I look at all the stuff that, oh, that's not real world stuff, how does that apply? How is that applicable to your real life? What you can't. But now when I look at, and I have always had that type of imagination where I would rather go do something instead of like, let's say we gonna watch it, but let's do it too. Let's do it too. Something like that. Let's do it too. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's go run and jump and have some fun and go do that too. Let's imagine ourselves doing the hocus pocus stuff too. Let's imagine all that stuff. Let's actually do it. Let's do it. Come on. You got it. Let's sword battle right now. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've always. And so when I can pinpoint, you know what I'm saying? You watch all them cartoons and all that stuff, but you're going to turn into one day. You're going to be one day. You're going to turn into a game one day. Animation, man, it's right there in my mind because I've seen the imaginations in other people's. I could, you know what I'm saying? I take it all in, because it's my whole life. I don't know, but hey, that's cool that you. Hey, man, I learned that's from you. That's what's up, and that's cool. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? I like it. You know what I'm saying? Me, for sure, dude. For sure. Me. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But hey, look what I can do. I can do this thing. I can do that. Man, can you do that? Can you hit it like this, though? Can you hit it like this? No, you can't. You can't hit it like me, so... You know what I mean? So, like, playing that imagination when you're really into it and you really start to tap in why people do what they do. You really start to see why life is the way life is. But if you're not there to be present, to see that that's a part of you, that applies, that does, even though it seems as ridiculous as it looks, and what is all of this stuff in the world, period. Like, I'm saying the world, but in this case, animation and things like that, cartoons or whatever, stuff like this, or just any movie, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's my point. It doesn't really matter. But you putting yourself there for that imagination and you really being there for it and going, nah, man, if I really put myself in this race car, you know what I'm saying, I'd be sweating, you know what I'm saying? I feel it. I feel the dust and the wind and the rain. I feel all of that. I feel the whole, claustrophobia, the helmet, you know what I'm saying? I'll be a race car driver. I'll see the vibration. But if you don't really literally feel that vibration, if you don't literally feel it, imagine yourself like what that is and how you would actually feel about it, then it's not going to really like, and I'm not even saying to manifest anything. I'm just saying to like, because I'm saying I'm applying this just to my body. I'm just saying that's what I would realize. Like I say, I would watch some zombie movie or something like that, and they're trying to reanimate something, and I question that stuff. I see Wolverine, and I would question it. I wouldn't just throw it to the side that it's just nothing. You know, I can imagine I got the claws too, and then I imagine, you know, and then it may help fix my hand. That I imagine the claws now, and that I can like think my way to heal myself. You know what I'm saying? When I can imagine that, you know what I'm saying, that all of that stuff. When I play, where else would I get that? Because if I just do this, or if I just go, I mean, I'm not even saying that wouldn't do something after a minute, but I'm saying if to really, like, and I'm tensing up in certain spots, and I'm really making that point, and I'm really doing it, or I'm really flowing through it, I'm really like, I'm not just, I gotta incorporate other muscles to actually move this. Some people just go, and sometimes you gotta like, and all of this gotta like work, and you gotta see where this takes you. You know, it's not just I reach out. It's what about all this other stuff that makes me grip this or move this out or do, like, if I, instead of just trying to strengthen this, where does this all lead to? And when you start to dig into the hips, and when you start to realize what it means to be able to move the knees without moving your knees, and you can, like I said, you can surgery, sculpts, get all of sculpture it, Voltra it, you know what I'm saying? Voltron it. When you can go inside of your body and your imagination and really feel through yourself, I can't, you know, it's hard, dude, because I feel like, you know, it would, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. But I feel it's important to really like bring home that I'm using way more of a mental ability to do this. Because if I didn't have a mental ability to imagine myself to be able to move these muscles without actually moving myself, that I can do this without having to do that, like I can, and if I think on it long enough, my body will start to just somehow start to go, this is just sped up, but when I go slow enough and I keep imagining and I want to pull and I start to, instead of me just going, and I go right here, right? And I just go, so I start to press down here, hold whatever muscles I need right here, and I'm pulling just a little more on the inside, but just right here. And I'm focusing on just doing that. And then now I can feel that there's something right up in here that needs to, like, you know what I'm saying? Something's, and it, you know what I mean? Like that little right here. I could do here and it wouldn't do that. I could press real hard and it won't do that. But this exact spot, wherever I just had it, it's like, oh God. That's about to break up and move all kinds of stuff. Before it wouldn't do that. Before it wouldn't just, I would press one thing or move certain things, or like I said, because I'm doing so many things at once. I'm not just, you know what I'm saying? When I say I'm doing this, like I said before, when I'm saying just doing this, I'm not just doing this. There's so many things in my toes that I'm scrunching, that I'm playing with, that I'm thinking on, that I'm realizing, I gotta like start at that point in my foot, bring that up to my hip, bring that up to my shoulder, bring that up to my ear right here, or around this piece, and then move, and then I gotta separate this, and then spread this out, and then move this way, and actually only tilt my head this way a little bit back, and I'm still doing all this other stuff to try to like figure out how to move everything back into place. Into place, hey, into Hey, so you know what I mean? A little bit like that, man. Just kind of fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's a lot to explain, and it's weird because if I just do it, it looks just like every other yoga session. It looks like every other hatha breath. It looks like every other stretch set, workout. It looks like every other dance, mobility. It just looks like those things. If I don't really break down exactly what I'm trying to tell you that I know that I'm doing and what I'm not doing, or what they're not doing, because I know what I'm doing. That's what I'm, you know what I mean? Like I know, So like I say, when I move, I'm not moving to move. Even if they say that moving is healing, what does that mean? Movement is medicine. What does that mean? Because vibration, like I say, is a thing. Why do people go, hey, you need to go sit here for 50,000 hours to go, Why do they tell you to do that? You kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? What is the point? It's not just going home to like, to this. There's pinpoints of vibrations to shake up and break up. There's knowing to where I can pull on different sides of my hips. If I can't really vibrate that well yet to get down deep far enough, then I know that I can maybe pull, breathe. Like I said, but not just letting myself. Because like I say, I'll do this thing to where I'll do the Nawuli again. I'll say, take all the breath out. I'll take everything out, right? And then I'll sit. And I'll try to hold my breath that way. I'll just... See, and I messed up because I need to go. But it's so tough sometimes to just, because I'm not even taking my breath out and just holding it. I'm not stopping. I'm not ever stopping necessarily. The hold is me holding it because I'm not breathing out, but until I can't go anymore, then I'll just sit and hold sometimes. I'm only doing it now because I'm talking and all this stuff, and if I was just sitting relaxing and did it, it'd be longer and all this other stuff too. But you know what I'm saying? It's not just like I want to try to be able to hold my breath for a minute going. And if I can't do it, see, I'm working my way up. I can do it long as I'm talking and doing all sorts of breathing and stuff. But that's my goal, is to be able to, and then not even have like it's just, and back to breath. I want to just go back to but like I'm saying, explaining is, if I do that long enough, it starts to explain where you'll get vibration from. Right? If I do it long enough, because there's a point, what I'm saying is that it'll start to go back and down to where I'll start to cave in certain parts like you saw. That's not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to crunch. As I breathe, my body starts to collapse. It goes into, right? when I breathe out, there's a certain point to where if I continue, like it stops. You know, like I say, when you go and it's a stopping point, right? But if I, like, let's say I go and let's say that's the stopping point somewhere, right? But if I go, still holding that point, I'm still holding it, right? And I go, like I'm not, but if because there's out, I can't go no more, right? I can't go. So right there. So if you go the whole way through and you do it, right? And it may be a long process, but when you get to the end of it, or if you go, that's still me going, but I'm going, right? I'm not trying to force I'm imagining myself from the nape of my neck going, and at some point, if I can enough, at some point something will break on the inside. This is what I'm trying to explain, to where if I do it enough, because like I said, even if I do it like if I sing, if I try to just do and I can't go no more, right? Like I will start to be able to breathe through whatever that was. It's not just or if I breathe in, I'm breathing through nothing. I'm just breathing in my body at this point. I'm not taking any breath in. I'm not doing, to where if I do it long enough, I can start in my eyes. Like my eyes will do it. Like if I can't breathe in or out long enough, my eyes will start being able to, and breath will come through there. Like it's like, dude, so what I was getting before is like, dude, if this thing is breathable, there's no way it's just our lungs being able to push and do that. What is all this other stuff? Why am I able to put air through? Please stop doing that. Ugh. What is that, Grandpa? That wasn't even the smoke. Come on, Grandma. Tell Grandpa to get out of here. Yeah, man. It's a lot to it, and I just can't help but put it out there, of course. But yeah, that's what's going on, dude. It's like when you start to, like I say, when you start to do it long enough and you breathe past that note or that thing or that breath or that stuff, you realize how much you are congested. Essentially is what I'm saying. You realize how much you're compacted and congested. Essentially, you know? Word.